What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Party Chats. I'm your host, Matt Southwell, and joining me this week is Dan Gilbert.
Right, Matt?
Yes, I'm very well, and just the two of us for this show again.
Yes.
We don't need really a third person. They only bring down the quality, if we're being honest. We invite Ash just to kind of, just so that he feels involved. So yes, just two of us this week. This is a weekly show, if you're not familiar, that three, but in this instance two, get together every Wednesday to discuss any kind of particular topic in the video game industry that we would like to just have a 10-minute conversation about. It can be current with the news, it can be lists of favourite games, basically anything goes for the next 10 minutes. This week, off the back of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 being announced, I thought, Dan, we'd have a conversation about which games do you think will be maybe being rebooted series, because there was a lot of fan requests for this. So which games maybe will come back, but maybe more importantly, what games would you like to see come back? For this, we're probably thinking of games that are generally old enough that it's coming back rather than just a sequel.
Yeah.
But if you want to include sequels, you can. I don't really care.
Okay.
So anything goes. So do you want to go first with one?
Okay, well, it's not so much one that I've played a lot of, but we were saying how we thought maybe Tony Hawk came back a bit more because of public pressure or requests rather than necessarily everyone go, you know what's really needed? A new Tony Hawk game.
Yeah.
Kind of thing in the publishing world. Do you think it's time that the internet is finally satisfied and we see the next Half-Life game?
Wow.
Or do you think
what's it been? It's 10 years now?
Yeah, like looking up here, the original one was released in '98.
Okay.
Made its way to consoles in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Wow. And then obviously we had number 2 a
Yeah.
few years after that. I played the first one to completion and all the expansions and stuff. You know, back when I was PC gaming. Didn't play the second one quite as much. Never quite got into it, but a lot of people, obviously, like you said, want this game.
Yeah.
I think that it's been in development for a while, but there's a story to be told, which I reckon is really interesting, but there's a story to be told about why we haven't had it yet. Now, if it's because, I don't know, like Valve have put a lot of time into like they've moved from games to being like a platform provider for Steam,
Yeah.
for PC, and maybe they've just realised they must be making more money than they know what to do with Steam.
Yes.
Because the amount that's sold through there, I mean, obviously a lot of it goes to the publishers, but they'll be getting a cut of at least 20%, possibly 30%. I don't know. I think it will come out one day. I think it has to.
It's got to.
Whether it will... I don't think it will meet expectations. I don't think it can now.
I think the internet joke itself has now driven that standard up far too high.
Yeah.
That regardless of what comes out, people are going to be disappointed.
What I would like to see, personally, which I think would be amazing, would be just one day when people just boot up Steam, but on the front page is like Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
They don't tell anyone about it, they just put it on there and like available to buy now.
Yeah.
I think that would be it would be great, but it would also be their own downfall because it would almost certainly crash Steam.
Yeah.
But it will come. It has to come. And yes, I would agree that this stage it's now almost a reboot rather than just a sequel because it's so long. So yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What do you think of? I think another one that there's a lot of complications to why it hasn't happened, but I think enough people ask that eventually we'll see Crash Bandicoot in some form.
Yeah.
I mean, Activision own the rights to this series now, the IP. You know, it's nothing to do with Naughty Dog. People are always asking Naughty Dog to make a new one, but it's not up to them. They'll never make it.
No.
But I can just see at some point Activision doing a... The problem is Activision, like, they're big, you know. I can make a franchise out of it.
Yes.
And I can make money out of it year after year after year. So I can understand why they haven't done it. But I think eventually they'll find... There'll be loads of studios out there that would bend over backwards to be given the chance to make a game like Crash Bandicoot.
I reckon. I reckon.
So
It'll eventually get into the public domain.
yeah,
Just when that happens. Not
maybe,
sure,
maybe for an anniversary.
I think there is room for it, especially on like the PlayStation.
Yeah, just on the PlayStation Network, like a
it's like there's
£15 game or something.
That's what I mean. It's like I don't really see a lot in the PlayStation library at the moment of something like a Crash game.
Yeah,
I think there is actually a place for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think whether or not we just talked about it in the Game of the Week show, whether or not people want it because they think it's going to be a good game now, or if it's just a nostalgia.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even going back to play Crash now. It's still great, but it's not. I don't know if I built myself up too high in my mind, but it wasn't quite as groundbreaking as I thought it was.
Yeah, but
it's just
You could argue that the next one though wouldn't be aimed at you or the people who played the other ones. It's aimed at the next generation under. So it doesn't matter whether
them. I want my Crash. But yeah, I know what you mean. Okay. Well, what games, irrespective of what games we think might come.
Yeah.
Let's go more importantly. What game would you want to see come back?
Right. I've got two, so
okay.
We can fire back and forth through these quickly. I think this is pretty much a dead set anyway. It's another Red Dead game.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's going to fit more in a kind of reboot fashion because not so much like an actual reboot as the way others do, but because they need to put it somewhere else in a different time. It can't really follow on from where the story left off. Obviously, your main character is dead. And so on. So, and also, I think the great thing about that game was the Wild West feel, and if they try and move on and where it left off, that was the end of the Wild West. I think if they do another one and enough people want it and it made them enough money that it's going to have to go back in time. It's
100% coming. Like there's no ifs about it. Rockstar take a long time over their games.
Yeah.
You look at like the gap between the GTAs.
Mm-hmm.
They take 5-6 years on the game.
Exactly.
Because it's Rockstar and they know it will sell. And this game is coming. This will be their next big game, 100%.
Yeah.
I would put money on it, but you're going to agree with me, so you're not going to bet against it, are you?
Yeah.
No. So that's a good one. Staying with Rockstar, but going back a little bit further, I'd like to see them maybe revisit Bully.
Okay.
Do you remember Bully for the PS2?
Yes.
I thought that was a really cool little game. It was a bit different from their GTAs, their Red Deads, or even like Manhunt, where it's all about killing.
Yeah.
This was there was some kind of stuff in there, but like your character was actually the good guy, which was, not that John Marston was a bad guy, but he still murdered a hell of a load of people.
Yes.
So, but no, it was a completely different setting. It was really, I don't know if it was maybe better for me at the time because I was playing it when I was at school. England, our schools are very different to American schools, but
yes,
the situations are similar. And I thought it was a very clever game, and it's just something that maybe they could visit at some point. Whether or not they have time between their two main projects, I don't know. But that was a good fun game at the time, and I would happily play one of those again. But not a remaster. Let's have a new game. Any more?
I've got one more, and this is one back on the PS2 that I've spent countless hours, especially playing on split screen with like friends and so on, is another conflict game. Like Desert Storm 2. I can't actually count the number of hours that I spent in that game just playing it over and over. Like me and my friend just trying to perfect the levels, as in like if we're meant to be quiet, trying to get through the whole thing without alerting anyone.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to get that little bit better every single time. Like we've also played the Conflict Vietnam one.
Yeah,
that one wasn't quite as good, but I think that's more down to the setting. Not so much the game mechanics were the same.
Yeah.
It's just I think back on the PS2, jungle didn't quite translate well enough. I don't think
it didn't have the powers to kind of do all the textures of a
yeah
jungle, basically. I loved Conflict of the Storm.
Yeah.
I remember playing it for the Xbox again, like with my friend, like split screen co-op. Really, really good. So would you say that it needs to be kind of like Gulf War again, or would you like to see a different setting? Or is it the setting you liked, or is it the gameplay, or is it just the combination of both?
I think Desert Storm 2 for me worked really well as a combination of the two. Does it have to be in the Gulf War again? No. It's like if it can go somewhere else, that's fine. If it has to be fictional, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's like I love the game mechanics of it. The fact that you could take your if you're by yourself, the fact that you can split off and be any one of your four people and so on, and put them in different places to do their jobs, kind of thing.
It was very tactical, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could play it just as the one guy basically running around shooting everything, and everyone else will take care of themselves. Or you can play it more tactically and like set yourselves up so everyone's covering at different spots and doing all of that, and that's what I liked.
No, I have a lot of fond memories of that game. So if there was another one, I would only be happy.
Yeah,
provided it was good.
Yes.
I got a couple more.
Okay.
First up, one that I really enjoyed back on the Xbox was Psyops. This was like a third-person kind of adventure game or action game, more so. The problem with this is, whilst not the same in any stretch of imagination, kind of Infamous has become its spiritual successor. Because Psyops, basically, you were like this kind of marine that had kind of built up. It's got like these powers, like psychic abilities, like telekinetic powers, and you could use it. And you could like pick up people and throw them and throw items at them and stuff. And you got stronger and you learned more powers and stuff like that. Really, really good game. I don't think many people have played it. I don't generally find people that have played it. Did you play it?
No.
I don't. But I don't think we'll ever see one like this again. Because if it didn't do well, it's like, well, there's not gonna be people asking for it, so therefore it's not gonna come back. But I had a really good time with that game, and I hope there's people out there that remember the game as fondly as I did. But maybe more realistically, looking at games that could come back, Time Splitters, which was had a lot of fan base on like PS2, Xbox era. I don't quite know what happened to it. I'm sure there was supposed to be one coming, and then like maybe the studio went bust, or there was something that happened when the last game was in development, which meant we never got it. But depending on who owns the rights, again, we see so many kind of indie studios now, very clever, talented indie studios.
Yeah.
The thing about Time Splitters was it kind of had that similar look to kind of Borderlands does now. So maybe
so you
people
think again it's kind of been.
I mean, Time Splitters was more shooter, whereas obviously Borderlands is like quest based. It's got a lot of RPG elements into it. Whereas Time Splitters was you shoot.
Yeah.
There was a story there, but the most fun was like the guns and the multiplayer, like the arenas that they had for them. And obviously, you don't have arena-based shooters in Borderlands, as far as I'm aware.
I don't know.
But that was a really fun game. I'd love to see that come back.
Okay.
But it probably won't. No. I'm picking all games that are like definitely dead. I don't know if you've got any more at all.
No, not one that I'll ever see. But like, it's just something that popped into my head. I remember getting really excited about it when I was a kid. Like I say kid, like maybe teenager. I can't remember exactly when it was due to come out. And then it just died. And that was like the Stargate SG-1 game. I remember seeing that. I know it's never going to be seen, but it's just like, I love that show. And so I remember seeing that coming out, like due to come out on PC or maybe even console as well, and like thinking, awesome. And it got delayed and then just died.
It's such a nerd.
I know.
It's probably as much as you would have loved it as a fan. It
will undoubtedly have been shit.
Yeah, but we don't see good games based on TV and vice versa. So
I know.
It's probably for the fan in you. It's probably for the best that you never got to play it, because that way you were never disappointed.
To be honest, I hadn't even thought about that in a long, long time, and then it just popped into my head right then. But no, I wouldn't actually want to see it. but it's just one that I remember thinking
At the
about,
time,
like,
you were
going, yeah, but no, it'll never be seen.
no.
It's probably a good thing.
Okay, that's good. I had one more, but I'll say it very quickly now that I've said I had one more.
Yeah.
But it was The Suffering, which was it was a horror game.
Okay.
You're basically in like a mental. There was two of them, and it was basically you were a character like in a mental asylum, and like everyone was kind of going crazy, and like they kind of like being turned into like these weird monsters and stuff as well. It was all very, very dark, very weird. I remember it was one of the first horror games I played. It was actually quite scary.
Okay.
But it was a Midway game. Midway no longer exists.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think
It's like
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know who owns that anymore. Maybe we should buy it because I'm sure we're really good at game programming.
Of course.
Okay, that was a good topic. A lot of good trips down memory lane
Yes.
of games that we will never see again. If you have enjoyed this video, please do like it, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, but also make sure you leave a comment down below about the kind of games you would like to see come back. Is there any franchises, iconic franchises that we've maybe missed that should be coming back, or maybe even ones that you think will definitely be coming back because there's too much money to be made? I don't know. Let us have your thoughts, we'll respond to you. But for now, Dan,
Cheers, Matt.
thank you as always. And everyone out there, we'll see you next Wednesday.